Hey guys, Jonah here, back with another beer review, and yeah, back on track. I'm going to be doing another one from the Beer City Asia, and it's Japan, I think. I did actually notice in the magazine, I didn't really show you this magazine's, or did I show you? I might have showed you before. Um, Lots of different places through Asia. It's countries in Asia, not necessarily beers. So the magazine talks about countries, apart from the weird bit where it starts talking about Canterbury, which is really weird. Canterbury, Canterbury, Asia. Mm. Canterbury's in Kent, which is just down the road. In fact, I used to work in Canterbury. Might have said that before. I don't know. But yeah, it's all right. I would say I don't think Canterbury's as good as it is down here on the island and the micro pub scene, which is just absolutely ridiculous. It's not bad. Canterbury does have some good stuff, including Flock Brewing. If you're ever down this way, they're really good. But even they started in they started in Margate, I believe. But anyway, that's not what we're doing today. We are doing Momo peach beer. I've had Momo. It's an Indian curry, I believe, but this time it's a peach rice pale ale at 4.2% A, and it's by the Horns, which is over in London. I think they're in London. And Kanpai, London craft sake, really, craft sake, just nuts. But anyway, it's a rice beer, and I do quite like the rice beer as an adjunct. Here we go. It says all beer and no bull. We have progressively traditional. We have progressively traditionalized. That doesn't. Oh, we have a progressively traditional attitude towards brewing, combining flavors, etc. Blah 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 blah. Boring. A Japanese-inspired pale ale brewed in collaboration with our friends at Kanpai Craft Sake in London. Inspired and brewed with lashings of peach and rice, expect a refreshing, dry, citrusy, fruity pale that is bursting with beach. Um, and there we go. By the Horns and Kanpai. And if we see, it must say where it's brewed. By the Horns. Oh, in Surrey. Okay. So not in London. Surrey's next to London. RH1 Red Hill, so that's somewhere down underneath London. What have we got in here? Peach and apricot flavouring, barley and rice. Oh, and wheat. So we do have a bit of wheat in, and I even like the colours. And I don't exactly know what that's. It's sort of psychedelic rice thing going on. Maybe the rice fields with some little sort of Kanpai dude. Oh, and if you didn't know, Kanpai is a sort of cheers, um, and some people use it as a. I remember I used to watch that Takeshi's Castle, one of those crazy Japanese shows, and at the beginning they always used to go Kanpai. But yeah, it means cheers, so that is a salutation that I quite like. Wow, look at that! That's pouring nice and clear. Is it going to go haze? No, that's interesting. So wheat and no oats, but look at that. Oh, you can see my ugly mug through there. Tiny touch of haze, perhaps, but that's more chill haze because I've had this bad boy in the fridge. But yeah, that looks very much like a sort of lagery thing. Is it a craft lager, did they say? No, pale ale. Interesting. Momo. And I even like Momo. Oh, Jesus Christ. So this has got extra stuff in here. And the hops in here are, what does it say? Allura and Admiral hops. Um, I've had peachy beers before, but this one really is really peachy. Wow, something else in there as well. Not sure, but definitely heavy on the peach. For those of you that like the foam watch, I don't think there's going to be much sticking around of the foam. Although rice is a kind of adjunct, but just look at the paleness of this beer. Crazy. So we'll call that a fingernail's head that's fast disappearing. Although I don't know if you can see the carbonation, if it'll focus on there. But the carbonation is quite light. So in between lager and pale ale kind of carbonation, which is cool. I'd quite like to know what yeast they used in here, because it's really clear. Is it processed? Is it filtered? Is it spun? You know, centrifuge? Sometimes that gets rid of particulates, but that is spectacularly clear. If it's your first time to the Unclejona channel, then welcome to you. Please consider subscribing because it helps me out, gets me motivated and that kind of stuff. And what else motivates me? Clicking thumbs up and like. Leave me a message down below. Let me know how entertained you are, because that's why I do this. Partly to drink beer and talk nonsense, but also I do it for you, dear viewer. Cheers and beers. Wow. So, carbonation up front is quite heavy. It is sort of lager-like, but as soon as you swallow, you instantly get that hit of peach, which is really pronounced. It's like a fruity, light thing. I don't know if you've tried those flavored waters. Many of them are around, and peach is one of the flavors that they have regularly. Um, because this is a very thin mouthfeel, but very peachy, which is cool. Um, and it's not too sweet either. It's interesting because it's peach, obviously in your face, but yeah, maybe it's the rice. Maybe the rice is doing what the oats usually does in a pale ale, especially the modern style pale ale, and kind of give it that little bit of creaminess. But it's not as pronounced as oats. So the rice has it has a nice. I was going to say it's not dry, but it's not sweet. It's kind of light creamy, if that makes sense. It doesn't taste like cream. This is not like a peach milkshake or anything like that. Um, but what I mean is it's not a harsh kind of finish. You do get a little bit of tickle on your taste buds. You're like, wow, we do actually have a nice tide line. That is interesting. We will see if we get more of those as we drink this beer. But yeah, really nice. Is it a fruit beer? Now they've said they've put flavorings in here as opposed to actual real fruit. Wow, pardon me. That carbon dioxide is kind of going to repeat on me, I'm afraid. But dear viewer, not more than any kind of person down at your local pub. So yeah, when you're drinking beer, you expect a little bit of wind, shall we say? Oh, okay, interesting. So this time I was getting that kind of carbon dioxide kind of bitterness, um, but then it went into a kind of chalky flavour while the peach is there all around the background. So it's like a chalky, not quite an astringency, but that type of thing. So it's bitterness followed by a bit of like, ooh, carbon dioxide bitterness followed by actual kind of bitterness. But all the while, this lovely fruit kind of peachy thing is going round. Yeah, I don't see peaches as a kind of bitter fruit, even when they're kind of a little bit kind of past their sell-by date, shall we say. Peaches always tend to be nice and juicy. They don't tend to go really sour. Um, that creaminess is kind of going off as well. It's kind of so light, and this is a pretty thin beer, like I said already. Um, yeah, it's very much like a watery kind of thing going on, like peach water or peach tea. Lipton do a lovely peach iced tea. I used to drink that quite often, but it's very sugary and it's very bad for you. If you've got heinous problems with your pancreas, if you're like me, unfortunately. But it's not going to dissuade me from drinking beer. I will drink beer till the very end, till the bitter end. Um, but yeah, still really good. Just that touch of bitterness in there, kind of taking that chalkiness, taking that what would be sweetness away and replacing it with a bit of bitterness. And I don't think it's hops that is doing that. I think it's the flavorings, to be honest. Let's finish this one off. And there we are. Yeah, that kind of carbon dioxide thing is kind of spoiling it a little bit for me. Um, yeah, because it's causing a little bit of bitterness. You know, if you have some sparkling water, um, Perrier or whatever, sometimes it gives that carbon dioxide gives you that kind of bitter feeling in your mouth, feeling like it's a tonic when it isn't. It's just water that's been carved. I really hope it hasn't been force carved because that was a mistake, I would have thought. So there's the second line and there's the third line, but they are very fast disappearing. There is nothing to be said on Foam Watch today, dear viewer. So I'll probably have to leave it there. But that was actually quite nice. Apart from that little bit of bitterness in there, that really nice. I would drink a few of those. That's unusual with a fruity kind of flavoured beer. But then it is quite light. So that is By the Horns in collaboration with Kanpai Sake Momo Peach Beer. That is a lovely fresh thing that is perfect for a summer's day. And summer is still here. It is still August. It's the month of my birth, so I really like August. Guys, this has been Uncle Jonah. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Why don't you have some beer? It'll make you smarter. And I'll be back with another beer review, and that's coming up real soon.